Hello guys. In this video, I'm going to explain how to read UberEats Tax Summary. So if you're an Uber Eats driver, what your tax summary for the year 2024 is telling you and how you can use this information for your tax return, what is important, what is not, and also we're going to talk about the GST HST in this video as well. First thing, before I start, during the year, let's say 2024, you've had done whatever number of deliveries, food deliveries to your customers. At the end of the year, Uber is going to summarize all that, summarize all the financial transactions between you, the customer, and Uber itself, and present that information in this Uber tax summary. This Uber tax summary, talking about the document itself, it is basically designed in a way that it provides information to both kind of drivers who do Uber rides and drivers who do Uber Eats. And there is a lot of drivers who do both. And the first portion, part of this tax summary, is basically related to the drivers who do Uber rides. And if you were doing Uber rides, you would have seen a lot of information over here and here, which would be related to the drivers who did Uber rides during the year. This portion, the second portion, is for the Uber Eats drivers, which is you. Before we start, I am also going to give you a brief idea of what GST HST is for Uber Eats drivers. So this has been a very confusing area for drivers. Should I register for HST? Should I charge HST? How do I register? Forget about the past. Okay, in the past, people were able to do Uber Eats without registering for GST or HST, and even if their income was going beyond the threshold. So there is a threshold of $30,000. If your income is crossing that threshold, then you become a contractor or a supplier who has to start charging or collecting GST or HST on your sales. So it means that if you are an Uber Eats rider and your income is going more than $30,000, then voluntarily, this is your obligation to get registered for HST or GST. Get that number, get that information. Obligation number 2 is to report or provide that information to Uber so that they get the information so that Uber can start charging HST on your sales. And number 3 is you will have to file GST or HST return now because you are GST HST registered. Quick example on that will be that if your income is below 30,000 and you're not GST HST registered driver, so you are giving a service to XYZ person and the charge for that service is, let's say, $10. So you will be charging that $10 to the customer and the customer will be just paying $10. But if your income goes over $30,000 and you get registered for HST, now what's going to happen is that you are still going to charge them $10, but you also have to start collecting HST on that. The charges for the service was $10. Now you have to add $1.3 or $1.30 as HST on that. So Uber will be charging the customer or collecting $11.3 or $11.30 from the customer and sending it to you. This is what happens when you register for GST or HST. And then it keeps going. It's not that the next year, if it comes down, you won't be charging HST. No, it's not like that. Once you register, now you have to collect HST and GST and make sure that you are reporting the appropriate amounts in your GST HST return. By the way, if you are doing both Uber Eats and Uber Rides, then you already have HST registered as an Uber Rides driver, which is mandatory for them. So you will be charging HST on the food deliveries as well. Uber Eats gross fare breakdown. So the gross fare means that this is the amount that you charge to your customers. So the first is Uber Eats fares. So this $2,787.55 is the amount for your service. So this is the amount that you charged to your customers. So basically what happens is that you are the one who is charging to your customer. Uber is the one who is facilitating this transaction. So they are facilitating the pricing and the collection of money and everything and then sending it to you. Uber does that. This is the amount that you charge your customers during the year. Tips is the amount of your customers are giving you tips. So this is the amount of tips that you got or earned or received during the year, which is 2,574 and 48 cents. There is a good reason of providing this information separate. One is that you can better analyze your earnings and okay, this is what my service fees were or service charges were, and this is what I got on top of it. And also this is very important for HST reporting as well and for your income tax. Third line over here is GST, HST you collected from Uber. Again, this is relevant if you were HST registered and if you were charging HST on your services, then that amount would have been shown here. So the total of all these three amounts. This is not the exact amount of earnings that you would put in your tax return, but yes, these amounts will be used for your income tax return. A lot of people just make a mistake in reporting their income. Next thing is other income breakdown. In this case, if there is any other income, if there is any other financial transaction which did not fall in the main service provision category, is going to be mentioned over here. Miscellaneous, maybe there was some service that you had to go back to the customer or something, right? In that case, you, let's say, collected $35. So Uber is reporting that you collected $35, which we put under the miscellaneous category. Referral and promotion as an Uber Eats driver, if you're referring someone to become an Uber Eats driver and they're using your referral code, so you get a referral fee. So this is that amount. GST you collected from Uber. Again, if you were GST and HST registered driver, you would have been collecting a certain amount of HST or GST on these amounts as well, which will be reported over here. So this is the total of these three amounts. Other potential deductions over here, it's just if you're an Uber Eats driver, the mileage is very important. This is actually very, very important for the people who do Uber rides, but it is also important for you. And this information is used or can be used to assess or to calculate the business use of your personal vehicle. The kind of same tax summary you would receive if you were doing Uber Eats on a bike or on foot or anything, but this mileage is used for calculating the business use of your personal vehicle. So that's pretty much it. It's a very simple tax summary for Uber Eats drivers. And now you know your earnings, so you're going to take information from this tax summary and put it into your income tax return, where you can also report your expenses for related to your car and your phone and this and that. Again, we have a very detailed videos on these topics, how to file income tax return as Uber Eats drivers. You can watch that. So this information goes in there, and then you'll be able to finish your tax return and file it. These amounts need to be massaged, and you need to know what these amounts are and then make sure that you're using these amounts for income tax return. Just don't do random and don't do guesswork, because this is one of the biggest mistakes that DIY kind of people do when they are doing their tax returns. If you have any questions, any comments, you're welcome. Safe driving and subscribe to our channel. Have a great day. Bye.